If you are a man over the age of 60 and you have noticed that your intimate life is just not what it used to be, I need you to listen very carefully to what I am about to tell you, because what you are about to hear could change everything. And I mean everything. There is a silent problem affecting millions of men right now, and most of them have no idea what is really going on inside their bodies. They think it is just age. They think it is normal. They think there is nothing they can do about it. But here is the truth. They are wrong. Dead wrong. My name is Dr. Raymond Arens. I have spent years helping men understand what is happening below the belt, and more importantly, why it is happening. And I can tell you from everything I have seen, from every patient I have treated, from every study I have read, that what I am about to share with you today is some of the most important information you will ever hear about your body, your health, and your intimate life after 60. Today I am going to reveal 4 fruits. 4 simple, natural, everyday fruits that science has shown can improve intimate circulation in ways that most men would never believe. These are not exotic supplements. These are not expensive pills. These are fruits you can find at any grocery store, any farmer's market, right in your own neighborhood, and the research behind them is real. Very real. But before we get to those 4 fruits, I need you to understand something fundamental. Something that most doctors never take the time to explain. And once you understand this, everything else will make perfect sense. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to water your garden with an old, rusty hose? You turn the faucet on, the water pressure is there, but what comes out the other end is a weak, pathetic trickle. The water wants to flow. The pressure is there. But the hose itself is the problem. It is clogged, stiff, narrow, and blocked by years of buildup. That is exactly what happens to the blood vessels in a man's body as he ages, especially the tiny, delicate blood vessels responsible for intimate circulation. You see, an erection is not a muscle thing. It is not a willpower thing. It is a plumbing thing. It is about blood flow. Period. When a man becomes aroused, his brain sends a signal that releases a molecule called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the master key that unlocks every blood vessel in your body. When nitric oxide is released, it tells the smooth muscles inside your blood vessel walls to relax and widen. And when those vessels widen, blood rushes in. That is how an erection happens. It is pure hydraulics. But here is the problem. After the age of 40, and especially after 60, your body produces less and less nitric oxide. The lining of your blood vessels, what doctors call the endothelium, gets damaged by years of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, inflammation, and oxidative stress. That delicate inner lining becomes like that rusty garden hose, stiff, narrow, clogged, and the blood simply cannot flow the way it used to. According to research from Johns Hopkins University, more than 18 million men in the United States are affected by erectile difficulties. And the data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey shows that the problem becomes dramatically more common with age. By the time a man reaches his 60s and 70s, nearly half of all men experience some degree of difficulty with intimate function. Half. That is 1 out of every 2 men. But here is what most people do not realize. The same blood vessel damage that causes intimate problems is also the very first warning sign of cardiovascular disease. Dr. Eric Rim, a professor of epidemiology and nutrition at Harvard University, put it perfectly when he said that erectile difficulty is often an early barometer of poor vascular function, and it offers a critical opportunity to intervene and prevent cardiovascular disease, heart attack, and even death. So when I talk about improving intimate circulation, I am not just talking about your love life. I am talking about your life. Period. Now let me tell you about Robert. Robert was 63 years old when he first came to see me. Retired mechanic, solid guy, hands like bear paws, the kind of man who never complained about anything his whole life. But when he sat down in my office that day, I could see it in his eyes. Something was eating at him. He told me that for the past 2 years, things had been going downhill in the bedroom. He and his wife Linda had been married for 37 years. She was the love of his life. but he could see the disappointment in her face, even though she never said a word. And that silence was killing him more than anything. His blood pressure was borderline high. His cholesterol was creeping up. He was carrying about 30 extra pounds, and he had not exercised regularly in years. Classic picture, textbook case. Now I did what any responsible doctor would do. I made sure he was working with his primary care physician on his blood pressure and cholesterol. But I also told him something that surprised him. I told him about 4 specific fruits that the science was showing could make a real difference in his vascular health and intimate circulation, not as a replacement for medical care, but as a powerful addition to it. And what happened to Robert over the next few months was remarkable. But I will tell you the rest of his story later, because first, I want you to understand exactly what these fruits are and how they work inside your body. And we are going to go through them one by one, from number 4 all the way to number 1, the most powerful of all. So let us begin. Number 4, citrus fruits, oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and tangerines. Now, I know what you are thinking. Oranges? Really? How could something as ordinary as an orange help with intimate circulation? Well, here is what most people do not know. Citrus fruits are absolutely loaded with a special group of compounds called flavonoids, specifically 2 types called flavonones and flavones, and these compounds do something remarkable inside your blood vessels. Think of it this way. If nitric oxide is the master key that opens your blood vessels, then the flavonoids in citrus fruits are like the bodyguards that protect that key from being destroyed. You see, one of the biggest problems as you age is that free radicals, these unstable molecules created by stress, poor diet, pollution, and just living, attack and destroy your nitric oxide before it can do its job. The flavonoids in citrus fruits neutralize those free radicals. They protect your nitric oxide so it can actually reach your blood vessels and do what it is supposed to do. But it does not stop there. The hesperidin found in oranges and grapefruits has been shown in studies to actually help blood vessel walls relax, to reduce blood pressure, and to improve overall circulation. Research published in the field of cardiovascular pharmacology has demonstrated that hesperidin can significantly reduce oxidative stress and improve what doctors call endothelial function, which is just a fancy way of saying it helps the inner lining of your blood vessels work properly again. Let me tell you about James. James was 57, a retired postal worker from Ohio. Big coffee drinker. Big bacon and eggs guy every morning. His idea of fruit was the cherry on top of his ice cream sundae. When I suggested he start incorporating citrus fruit into his daily routine, he looked at me like I had 2 heads. But James was a practical man. He started simple, a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice with breakfast, a grapefruit in the afternoon, some tangerine slices after dinner. Nothing complicated. About 6 weeks later, James came back for a follow-up. He told me his blood pressure had come down a few points. He was sleeping better, and, he said with a grin, things were starting to show some improvement downstairs too. Not a miracle overnight, but a noticeable difference, a direction change. Now here is what made the biggest impact on James. That landmark study from Harvard University and the University of East Anglia, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2016. Researchers followed more than 50,000 men over a period of more than 2 decades. 50,000 men. That is not a small study. That is massive. And they found that men who regularly consumed foods rich in specific flavonoids, including the flavonones and flavonoids found in citrus fruits, were significantly less likely to develop intimate performance issues. Let me say that again. A 25-year study of 50,000 men at Harvard found that citrus fruits were among the top foods that protected intimate function. That is not some internet rumor. That is Harvard-level science. And here is a bonus that will shock you. That same study found that eating a diet rich in these flavonoids was as effective for intimate health as walking briskly for up to 5 hours per week. As effective as exercise, from fruit. That is extraordinary. But as powerful as citrus is, the fruit at number 3 is even more impressive. And I promise you, the deeper we go into this list, the more your jaw is going to drop. Number 3. Pomegranate. If citrus fruits are the bodyguards protecting your nitric oxide, then pomegranate is the entire security team. This fruit is an absolute powerhouse of antioxidant protection, and the science behind its effects on intimate circulation is fascinating. Pomegranate is packed with polyphenolic flavonoids, which are among the most powerful antioxidants found anywhere in nature. These compounds do 3 critical things for your blood vessels. First, they protect nitric oxide from being destroyed by free radicals, just like citrus but even more potently. Second, they help reduce inflammation inside your blood vessel walls, which is one of the main causes of those vessels becoming stiff and narrow. And third, they actually help reduce the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, which is the process that creates the plaque that clogs your arteries in the first place. Think of pomegranate as a deep cleaning service for your entire vascular system. It is going in there and scrubbing the walls, removing the gunk, and making everything flexible and open again. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. A clinical trial published in the International Journal of Impotence Research tested the effects of pomegranate juice on men with mild to moderate erectile difficulties. This was a real study, randomized, placebo-controlled, double-blind, the gold standard of scientific research. 53 men participated. They drank 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily for 4 weeks, then switched to a placebo for another 4 weeks, with a washout period in between. The results? 47% of the men reported improved intimate function when drinking the pomegranate juice, compared to only 32% on the placebo. That means the men were 50% more likely to see improvement with pomegranate juice than without it. Now, I want to be honest with you because that is what a good doctor does. The overall statistical significance was borderline in this study. The researchers said that with larger groups and longer treatment periods, the results would likely be even stronger. But the trend was clear, and it was promising. And here is something else about pomegranate that got my attention. A study from Queen Margaret University in the United Kingdom tested 60 healthy men who drank pomegranate juice for 2 weeks. They found a 24% increase in salivary testosterone levels. Let me repeat that. A 24% increase in testosterone from drinking pomegranate juice for 2 weeks. Testosterone is essential for desire, for energy, for confidence, and yes, for intimate performance. That is a powerful finding. Let me tell you about Mike. Mike was 62, a retired firefighter from New Jersey, tough as nails, the kind of guy who ran into burning buildings for a living. But when it came to his intimate life, he felt helpless. He had been struggling for about 3 years. He had tried the pharmaceutical options and they worked to some extent, but the side effects bothered him, the headaches, the flushing, the stuffed-up nose. He wanted something more natural. I told Mike about the pomegranate research. He was skeptical, but he figured if he could charge into a 4-alarm fire, he could drink some pomegranate juice. He started with about 8 ounces a day, just like in the study. Pure pomegranate juice, no sugar added. After about a month, Mike called me. He said he noticed he had more energy, his morning fatigue was lighter, and he started noticing, well, improvements. Nothing dramatic at first, but things were moving in the right direction. And by the 2nd month, he told me his wife noticed the difference too. She asked him what had changed. That is when Mike knew something real was happening. Now I have to stop right here and tell you something very important. If you take blood pressure medications, especially if you take nitrate medications for your heart, or if you use any kind of prescription medication for intimate performance, you absolutely must talk to your doctor before adding pomegranate juice to your routine. Pomegranate can interact with certain medications and affect how they are metabolized. Safety first, always. Now, what is coming next on our list is something that truly surprised me when I first read the research, and I think it is going to surprise you too. But before I reveal number 2, I need to ask you a favor. If you are finding this information helpful, if you have learned something today that you did not know before, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and drop a comment telling me where you are watching from. I read every single comment, and it honestly makes my day to hear from you. Plus, when you like and subscribe, it helps this video reach other men who need this information just as much as you do. And trust me, they are out there. Millions of them. Your father, your brother, your friend, your neighbor. They need to hear this, so share this video with someone you care about. You might just change their life. All right, let us get into number 2. And this one is a game changer. Number 2. Blueberries. Now, blueberries may be tiny, but let me tell you, these little powerhouses pack more science per berry than almost any other fruit on the planet when it comes to intimate vascular health. Remember that massive Harvard study I told you about? The one with more than 50,000 men over more than 2 decades? Well, of all the different types of flavonoids they studied, there was one particular group that stood out above all the rest. They are called anthocyanins, and blueberries are absolutely bursting with them. Anthocyanins are the pigments that give blueberries, blackberries, cherries, and other dark-colored fruits their deep, rich color. But they are far more than just pigment. Inside your body, anthocyanins do something extraordinary. They help your arteries become more flexible. They literally make your blood vessel walls softer, more pliable, and more responsive. Think of it like this. Imagine you have 2 garden hoses. One is brand new, soft, and flexible. The other is old, stiff, and cracked. Which one delivers more water? The flexible one, obviously. That is what anthocyanins do for your blood vessels. Professor Aidan Cassidy, the lead researcher on that Harvard study, found that men who regularly consumed foods high in anthocyanins were 10% less likely to develop intimate performance issues. And when those men also exercised regularly, the risk dropped by 21%. That is a 1 in 5 reduction in risk, just from eating berries and moving your body. And here is what really drives this home. The researchers found that the top sources of these beneficial compounds in the American diet were strawberries, blueberries, red wine, apples, pears, and citrus products. But of all of them, blueberries had one of the highest concentrations of anthocyanins. Dr. Eric Rim, the senior author on that study from Harvard, made a statement that I will never forget. He said that intimate difficulty is often an early barometer of poor vascular function, and that men who improve their diet with flavonoid-rich foods like blueberries could significantly benefit both their sexual health and their cardiovascular health. In other words, what is good for your love life is good for your heart. And what is good for your heart is good for your love life. It is all connected. Let me tell you about Patricia's husband, Tom. Tom was 69 years old. He and Patricia had been married for 42 years. Tom was a retired school teacher, gentle guy, loved crossword puzzles and old westerns on TV. But Patricia had noticed that over the past few years, Tom was becoming increasingly withdrawn. He was going to bed earlier, avoiding intimacy, making excuses. She was worried it was depression, and in a way, it was. But the root cause was vascular. Tom's doctor recommended some dietary changes along with his regular treatment. I suggested he add a daily serving of blueberries to his routine, a cup of fresh blueberries in the morning with his oatmeal, some frozen ones blended into a smoothie in the afternoon. Simple. Now, Tom was a patient man, which is a good thing because the benefits of dietary changes do not appear overnight. But after about 2 months, Patricia came up to me at a community event and, with tears in her eyes, told me that she had her husband back. Not completely, she said, but the spark was there again. He was more energetic, more interested, more present. That is what anthocyanins can do. They work slowly, quietly, rebuilding the flexibility of your blood vessels day by day, berry by berry. Now, if blueberries at number 2 impressed you, what is coming at number 1 is going to blow your mind. This fruit has been called nature's answer to certain pharmaceutical drugs, and the research behind it is nothing short of remarkable. Are you ready? Number 1, watermelon. Yes, watermelon. That sweet, juicy, refreshing fruit you have been eating at summer barbecues your whole life. It turns out, watermelon may be one of the most powerful natural tools available for improving intimate circulation. And the reason is an amino acid called citrulline. Here is how it works. Watermelon is one of the richest natural sources of L-citrulline, a non-essential amino acid that your body converts into another amino acid called L-arginine. And L-arginine is the direct precursor to nitric oxide, that master key molecule that opens up your blood vessels and allows blood to flow. Now, you might be thinking, why not just take L-arginine directly? Good question. And the answer is fascinating. When you take L-arginine by mouth, most of it gets broken down in your liver before it ever reaches your bloodstream. Scientists call this the hepatic first-pass effect. But L-citrulline is different. It bypasses the liver completely. It goes straight to your kidneys, where it is efficiently converted into L-arginine, which then boosts your nitric oxide levels. In other words, citrulline from watermelon is actually a more effective way to increase your nitric oxide than taking arginine itself. This is the same basic mechanism that pharmaceutical drugs for intimate performance use. Those drugs work by preventing the breakdown of a compound called cGMP, which keeps blood vessels dilated. Citrulline works on the other side of the equation. It boosts the production of nitric oxide, which stimulates the production of more cGMP in the first place. Different approach, same goal. More blood flow where you need it. Now, let me tell you about the study that really caught my attention. A clinical trial conducted at the University of Foggia in Italy, published in the journal Urology in 2011, tested the effects of L-citrulline on 24 men with mild erectile difficulties. The average age of these men was about 57 years old. Each man received a placebo for 1 month, followed by L-citrulline supplementation for another month. The results were striking. During the placebo phase, only 2 out of 24 men, that is about 8%, saw any improvement in their erection hardness scores. But during the citrulline phase, 12 out of 24 men, that is 50%, saw their scores improve from mild difficulty to normal function, from 8% to 50%, and every single man who improved reported being very satisfied with the results. The frequency of intimate encounters also nearly doubled, going from about 1.4 times per month to 2.3 times per month. And here is the best part. There were 0 side effects reported, not one. Now, to put that into perspective for you, imagine a room with 24 men. Only 2 of them get better with a sugar pill. But give them citrulline, and 12 of them walk out of that room with their function restored. That is the power of this amino acid. And watermelon is one of the richest natural sources of it. But I want to be completely transparent with you, because honesty is what builds trust between a doctor and his patients. The doses used in that clinical study were about 1.5 grams of pure L-citrulline per day. A typical serving of watermelon, about 300 grams, provides roughly 750 milligrams to 1 gram of citrulline, so you would need to eat quite a bit of watermelon every day to match the study doses exactly. Some people choose to eat generous portions of watermelon daily, while others supplement with L-citrulline capsules. Either way, talk to your doctor about what makes sense for you. And here is something else that is important. The citrulline in watermelon is not just in the red flesh. The highest concentration is actually in the white rind, the part most people throw away. Some health-conscious individuals blend the rind into smoothies or juices to get that extra dose. Something to think about. Now let me finish Robert's story. Remember Robert? The retired mechanic with the bare paw hands and the disappointed wife? After our first appointment, Robert went home and made some changes. He started eating watermelon every single day, a big bowl of cubed watermelon with breakfast. Sometimes he would blend it up with some ice and a squeeze of lime. He also added blueberries to his oatmeal, started drinking a glass of pure pomegranate juice in the afternoon, and switched his afternoon snack to a couple of clementines. He also started walking 30 minutes a day, nothing crazy, just a brisk walk around the neighborhood. After about 2 months, Robert came back for a follow-up. And I am not going to lie to you, I noticed the difference the moment he walked through the door. He was standing taller, his eyes were brighter, he had lost about 10 pounds, and when I asked him how things were going, he actually laughed, a real, genuine laugh. He told me that for the first time in 2 years, he and Linda had been intimate the previous weekend. And not just once. He said it was like someone had turned the clock back. Not all the way, he told me, but far enough to make both of them smile. Now, was it just the fruit? Of course not. It was the fruit combined with the walking, combined with the weight loss, combined with better overall health habits. But the fruit was the catalyst. It was the thing that gave his body the raw materials it needed to start producing more nitric oxide, to start repairing those damaged blood vessels, to start improving that circulation. And that is the magic of these 4 fruits. They do not work like a drug. They do not force anything. They give your body what it needs to heal itself. Now let me give you a practical action plan, something you can start doing today, right now. This evening if you want. First, go to the store and pick up some watermelon. Eat at least 2 generous servings a day. If you can tolerate it, blend some of the white rind into your smoothie. The citrulline content is highest there. Second, add a cup of blueberries to your daily routine. Fresh or frozen, it does not matter. Put them on oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, eat them as a snack, just get them in. Third, drink about 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice daily. Make sure it is 100% juice with no added sugar. Check the label. Fourth, eat citrus fruit every day. An orange, a grapefruit, some tangerines. Or drink a glass of fresh squeezed citrus juice. Fifth, and this is important, combine these fruits with at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days. The Harvard study showed that the combination of flavonoid-rich foods and exercise reduced risk by 21%. That is the 1-2 punch that really moves the needle. And sixth, please do not stop your medications without talking to your doctor. These fruits are meant to work alongside your current treatment, not replace it. They are an addition to your health plan, not a substitution. If you take blood pressure medication, heart medication, or any kind of prescription treatment for intimate performance, your doctor needs to know what you are adding to your routine. Now, I want to leave you with something that I think is really important. And it goes beyond fruit and blood vessels. As men, we are taught to tough it out, to push through, to not complain. And there is something admirable about that. But when it comes to your health, silence can be deadly. I have seen too many men suffer in silence for years, too embarrassed to talk about their intimate problems, too proud to ask for help until the problem becomes so severe that their options become limited. If you are struggling with intimate performance, please talk to your doctor. There is no shame in it. None. It is a medical condition with medical causes and medical solutions. And as we have seen today, there are also powerful natural strategies that can help. The blood vessels that supply your intimate function are among the smallest and most delicate in your entire body. They are like the canary in the coal mine. When they start having trouble, it is a warning sign that the larger vessels, the ones feeding your heart and your brain, may not be far behind. So by taking action now, by improving your diet, by eating these 4 incredible fruits, by exercising, by working with your doctor, you are not just saving your love life. You are potentially saving your life. I have seen it happen too many times. A man comes in with intimate complaints, and we discover early-stage cardiovascular disease. By catching it early, we can intervene. We can prevent the heart attack. We can prevent the stroke. Your intimate health is a window into your overall health. Do not ignore it. So let me recap. The 4 fruits that science has shown can improve intimate circulation after 60 are citrus fruits at number 4, for their flavonoids and flavones that protect nitric oxide and improve vascular function. Pomegranate at number 3 for its incredible antioxidant power, its ability to protect blood vessels from plaque, and its potential to boost testosterone. Blueberries at number 2 for their anthocyanins that make blood vessels more flexible and dramatically reduce the risk of intimate difficulties. And watermelon at number 1 for its unmatched content of L-citrulline, which your body converts into the nitric oxide that is the very foundation of intimate blood flow. These 4 fruits, backed by research from Harvard University, the University of East Anglia, the University of Foggia, UCLA, Queen Margaret University, and published in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, the International Journal of Impotence Research, and the journal Urology, are not fairy tales. They are not wishful thinking. They are real, evidence-based strategies that can help your body do what it was designed to do. Now, if you found value in this video, and I truly hope you did, I need you to do 3 things for me. First, hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it helps this video reach men who desperately need this information. Second, share this video with a man you care about. Your friend, your brother, your father, your neighbor. You do not even have to say anything awkward. Just text them the link and say, "Hey, I thought this was interesting." Let them watch it in private. Trust me, they will thank you. And third, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell, because I have much more life-changing health information coming for you. In the next video, I am going to reveal the #1 thing men over 60 do every morning that is destroying their blood vessels without them even knowing it. You are not going to want to miss that. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your health matters, your intimate life matters, your happiness matters, and the fact that you watched this entire video tells me you are the kind of man who takes his health seriously. I respect that. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people you love. And remember, it is never too late to make a change. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal itself when you give it the right tools. God bless you and your family. Stay healthy, stay strong, and I will see you in the next video. This is Dr. Raymond Arens, and it has been my privilege to share this with you today.